Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Testify. My name is Sharon Aitore and I trust that the Lord has kept you well. This week we meet Julius Muli, a former street boy and now a gifted sound engineer, a photographer and a dedicated member of staff at Sitam Ngong. Let's hear his story.
So my name is Julius Muli Muthusi. I'm married to one wife. My wife is called Julie Muthusi, and I have a daughter called June Muli. Currently I'm working with Sitam, Christ is Answer Ministries, and I've been working there officially for the last 5 or so years. I was born in the city of Mombasa, where my mother was living there then. Then as a young baby, we came to Nairobi. My life now started well in Nairobi at the age of, I discovered myself at the age of 7, and that's when I learned that we were struggling in life and things were getting worse, because I was raised in a poor background and all was not working well. So at the age of 7, that's when I became wayward, started disturbing my mother then. And then later on, my mother was reunited with the father of my sister, because I was from another father. Finally, at the age of 7, I decided, by then we were living in Rongai, but I would go to Kibera, I would go to Nairobi West. So back then I decided that now, since everything is not working, it's better I go to the streets. So I opted to go to the streets. And my life in the street was not easy, but I was rather being in the street rather than being at home, because at home getting food to eat was a problem. I was not going to school, nothing was happening. So I decided that the best place to be would be in the streets. So every now and then I would get involved in crimes. Like for starters, my life began in the streets by sniffing glue. That was the initial part of my drug taking. Then I graduated, started taking marijuana. Then after taking marijuana for some time, then the in thing was now something they called thinner, the aircraft fuel gas. So that was what we used to take. It was being sold somewhere behind Nyayo Stadium by a Muhindi. Imagine that was back in 94, 93, and one bottle, a half liter, was 70 shillings. That was a lot of money, but we would do whatever it takes for us to have that money and to purchase. For me, I was in a different kingdom, and we had so many kingdoms, I call them territories, in the streets. So like in Rongai, we had so many of them. We had a territory in the lower part of Rongai. Before you arrive at Rongai town, there was another one, and then there was the main one at Rongai. And those territories have their kings, the kingpins, and they control the territories. From a layman's point of view, if you look at it, you just think that this is just a general street gathering, or these are just general street boys and girls. But in essence, there are so many kingdoms within, like in Nairobi. In Nairobi, we have so many kingdoms, so many territories, and they are ruled by different people, and they major in different things. There are those who major in stealing, there are those who major in killing, there are those who major so many other things. So the same cliques are the same cliques that are recruited into gangs, and some of them become thieves and all that. So for me, I was in a gang in the lower part of Rongai. Then I graduated, I went to the bigger part of Rongai. And for you to survive in those kingdoms, there are some things that you must do. Like we used to go and maybe raid a place and take everything. But now the loot would go to the king, and he was the one who was to decide what would happen to that. So in essence, these young people in the streets, like for us, we were in deeper dilemma than when we were at home, yet we cannot come out. Because again, when you come out of a gang, then there is a challenge of them following, and they might injure you. So most of the guys in the streets prefer being in that gang so as to avoid being attacked and all. and all that. It's much safer there. Then I had to move from Rongai finally, due to some wrangles with the group. So I moved to Nairobi West. So Nairobi West, then everything changes. The things, their dynamics are different. You're doing things differently, so you have to adapt to that system again. Then I got a kingpin there. Now the kingpin at Nairobi West was a different one. For you to survive there, he used to bring a marijuana, and you had to sell it, rolls of marijuana. So you had to sell that. If you don't sell, then you cannot survive there. So he used to bring the drugs in the morning, then you sell throughout the day, and then he would come in the evening to collect his money. Woe unto you if he found that you had not sold anything, or you did not have his money or his bank. So we continue like that. In one day I remember, before my turning point came, as we were in Nairobi West, our kingpin, we left, and you see, we used to go and raid other gangs. Like even Nairobi, that happens. You just one day wake up and decide that, hey, today we are going to raid a certain group. Maybe they did something wrong to us, and we are going to retaliate. So one day we went to Uhuru Park with our leader. Now we believed that when you have that leader, when that gang leader is there, nothing would happen to you. Like he is everything. So he used to be our hope. So we went to Uhuru Park, and there was a function happening. So we said that we are going to raid there and remove the guys from their territory and take over the territory. So we went. In Uhuru Park there is a tunnel that goes down from one end to the other end. There's no water. People just walk in. So when people steal your stuff, people run, go into the tunnel, and you can never find them. So we decided we are going to raid there. So on arrival, the battle started, and everybody was running, and people were watching and wondering, why are the streets guys today fighting? And they are the same clique of people. Why are they fighting? So everybody was wondering. So one guy decided to run and hide in the tunnel. So our gang leader decided to follow in there. So majority of the guys from Uhuru Park were in the tunnel. So they crushed a bottle, and he was cut on the neck. Then he came out bleeding like we've never seen before. We started crying, because for us we were young people. For me, by then I was about 10 or 11. So we were wondering, hey, what's happening? Our hope has gone, and we were running and crying. So a certain mother. That's why I am so happy, as in I love to see people helping the destitute, because that mother decided to destroy her car, if I may use that word, because she took the guy. All the other people were just passing and wondering, these street boys, they steal. Some of them were saying that this guy steal for us, this guy do this to us. But that woman decided to take her car. And her car, she stopped her car, then took the guy, bleeding all over, told people to drag him into the car. And the whole seat was bloody, the car was messy, but the woman decided to take this guy to the hospital. We all followed the car and went to the hospital next to Kenya Poly, what's called Rhodes something. We went there. The guy was treated. The woman said that he should be treated, so he was given first priority. He was treated, given everything, and she paid. And then the guy came out of the hospital after some time. And the funny thing is that even in all that, because once the system is used to drugs, you can never stop taking the drugs. If you stopped a day or hours, you felt like everything has shut down. Your brain stops working, your system drains up, and you feel like everything has come to an end. So what happened is that once he came back, we tried to insist that he should not take the thinner. So, but he would not survive without. So, and that the thinner is dynamic in a way. It triggers the body to become active, and you become furious. So he would take the thinner, then the blood pressure would go up, and he would bleed, but he would never stop taking it. So those are some of the challenges that we went through in the streets. Then when I came back, when we went back to the street, there was this guy, that one was the brother to the main guy who was bringing the bang. So one day, that time I was not around, then he comes and tells me, hey, I gave you a packet of bang. And bang was, one packet was a lot of money, because one roll was 20 shillings, then every packet had 20. So that was a lot of money then. So like I was wondering, where will I get that money? So he told me that he's going to kill me. So and for me I knew that if he tells you he will kill you, he would surely kill you. So for me I was wondering, now what do I do? Do I go? I had some few coins, because there was a mother who had a wholesale at Nairobi West, where we used to, whenever we go and beg, because we used to go to the streets and beg people, tell them to give us food, but instead of buying food we go and, so the wiser guys used to buy us food instead of giving us the money. They would go into the shop and tell the shopkeeper, give them food, then we would eat. But whenever we were given money, that was for buying drugs. So that guy comes and I'm wondering what to do. So I decided, hey, I have to run away. Rongai, I can't be. In Nairobi West, there is no hope. So where do I go to? So I decided home is best. So I retreated to Rongai. On my arrival to Rongai, I felt like I was out of place. Things had changed, because I was in Nairobi West for a few years, maybe 2 or 3. So everything has changed. The friends I knew, some of them have been killed. I can't see nobody. So I'm wondering, where do I start? So for the first time, my mother saw me. When I came back to Rongai, then that's when I went home. I went and told my mom, I'm back. So because that was the only place where I could get safety. Now I know if I go to the gang, I'm wanted. The other side, I'm wanted. So the only point I would go is back to my mom. So now I had to come down and tell her I have come. But I only stayed there for a few days. After the few days, I found one of my guys, my former street boys. I think he had transformed a bit. So I think he was also wanted or something. So he had retrieved to taking care of cattle. So he tells me, hey, nowadays I'm taking care of cattle, and you can join me in taking care of the cattle. So I got a job. I was working there for some time, but by then I was like, I'm giving up in life. I had come to a point where I'm feeling that nothing much is happening. So we take care of the cattle, come home once in a while, and my mom was happy that I'm somewhere other than in the streets. One day, the home was being run by a Mukurino. This Mukurino tells a few of the other guys that we were with in the home, now what you are going to do is that I have found a place for you. This place, you have to go, and you can only come from there when you're done with schooling. And for me, you see, I had nothing to lose. So these other guys, there were only 4. The people who are lined up to go were only 4. So I arrived there and I found them going. So she told us, the 4 of us, again my friends, the ones I found there were also 4. So she tells us that, let us take these ones to the stage so that we can take them to the home. Then we come back, then we can plan and see what happens. So we took the guys to the stage, but when we arrived at the stage, she was, God spoke to her. I believe God spoke to her, and she told us, instead of you going back, let us take them to Nairobi, and then we come back. So we were never ready. We just were like that, dirty, tattered, and we went to, that's when we arrived at Valley Road.
A ray of light finally shines on Julius and his friends. After this short break, he tells us of how his journey of transformation began. Don't go away.